This is Vikings Live.
Welcome back to Vikings Live, everyone. The Vikings have one of the most prolific passing offenses in the NFL, one of the more efficient rushing attacks in the country, and players just at about every level. Yes, they have the pieces, but it takes the right person to put it all together. That, of course, would be Kevin Stefanski, who's joining us here tonight at TCO Studios, catching up with the one and only Paul Allen. PA, take it away, my man.
OBRT, bonjour. And Kevin, welcome to the show. Kevin is the offensive coordinator. He's been with the team about a decade and a half. So it behooves us, down memory lane we go. We see these helmets right here.
I do.
Of course, we want this helmet to win the game on Sunday. We want that team to win, right? That team to win. This helmet right here, the Chargers helmet, we must concede. It's one of the coolest helmets in the NFL, right?
Love it. Yeah, that white with the powder blue, it is pretty good.
Now, and down memory lane we go. 07, your second year here, Adrian Peterson's single game rushing record, 296. It still stands. What do you remember?
I remember that second half, they just couldn't tackle him. And Bev would call an inside zone to the right, and it would go for 12, and then he'd call an inside zone to the left, it'd go for 30. And then it just kept snowballing. But maybe most importantly, who was the quarterback handing off to him? That's the only reason Adrian had that success was Brooks Bollinger was handing the ball. And Brooks was so good at handing the ball off at Wisconsin. He was clearly really good at it in the pros. So
that's great.
But those guys, that was an amazing experience. And I remember the offensive line. I can remember Matt Burke after the game. He felt like he broke the record. You know, those offensive linemen, they finally had a record that they could have a piece of.
Now, with the Vikings offense, the running game has been spectacular. The quarterback, Kirk Cousins, honestly is having the best season of his career. So when you work with Kirk, what does he do that makes your job easy?
Prepares. I wish everybody could see this guy come into the building every day with his briefcase, and he's in the office. And
Briefcase?
Yes.
What is he,
literally.
70?
Yeah, I know. And, I mean, he's got a file cabinet next to where he works.
Wow.
So he just takes his job so seriously, which I appreciate because this is a big gig that he has, and he takes it seriously. He works at it. There's nobody that studies more film than him. He wants everything. He wants every answer and leave no stone unturned. So I just appreciate the way the guy works.
Well, I mean, we know Kirk is an old soul, correct? Yeah. But a briefcase and a file cabinet, does he like play cribbage on the sidelines?
He might. For all I know, he's got that van that he drives around. So whatever it takes. If he's playing at this level, he can do whatever he wants.
Now, outside of the preparation, Kevin, like identify one trait Kirk has during games that is absolutely fantastic.
I think he processes information so quickly, and it's one of those things when I was coaching quarterbacks or as I talk to him before games, I just tell him, trust those eyeballs. And he's worked so hard to have an understanding of the defense, and he sees the contour of the defense, and he thinks this coverage is coming or this pressure is coming. But then once the ball's snapped, defense is disguised, and they'll give you something different. Yeah. I think he processes information so quickly and then is able to get through his progression, get the ball where it's supposed to go accurately. Not a lot of quarterbacks can do that, so I think it's very impressive how quickly or how good he is with the ball in his hands post-snap.
He's been sacked 0 or 1 time, 9 of 13 games this year. What are some things that led to that?
It takes everybody, and first and foremost, it's the offensive line. I think those guys deserve the lion's share of credit because in this NFL, the defenses that you go up against week in and week out, there are some really great rushers. Chargers here getting ready to throw some good ones at us too.
Joey Bosa.
Some great ones. So the challenge is there every week. So I think those guys in their communication and the way they get the proper line calls and working together with the quarterback has been very impressive. On top of that, you got to give credit to the running backs. Yeah. We put them in protection quite a bit. I think Dalvin, Amir has stepped in there, done a nice job. And then circle back to that quarterback. We got to get the ball out of our hand. And I know we were just talking and showing some Phillip Rivers clips. He gets the ball out of his hand. He will not allow you to sack him. And that's part of what we talk about.
Well, at this stage of the equation, this deep in the season, what's challenging for you coming up with new plays?
That's the fun of it, Paul. We sit there every Monday and Tuesday, and we just brainstorm. We throw ideas up on the wall, and if you saw some of the ideas, we say, what were we thinking? You know, those don't make any sense. But we watch tape. I turn on the top 5 plays of every offense around the league each week because you're looking for inspiration. And I'm happy to steal it right exactly how they did it, or I'm happy to look at it and say, I like how they did that. Maybe it makes more sense for us to do this. So we're constantly pivoting, and I think we're learning about ourselves each week and understanding what we want to build off of.
Now, you were tight ends coach in 2014 and 15, working with Kyle Rudolph. From Kyle then to Kyle now, talk about the metamorphosis of his game.
I think it's evolved a little bit in that we're asking him to be that true Y that lines up on the line of scrimmage more often than not. And he's got the heavy lifting on a ton of blocks, but to his credit, the way he works in the zone game, working with a tackle, working with another tight end on his outside, he's such a smart player. And we take it for granted, but you throw multiple looks at him, and he's on top of it, understanding his job.
Last one. You've lived and worked here since 2006. How about these Vikings fans? How much do they love this team?
Unbelievable. I think, with this studio audience, I just seeing all the purple out there, very impressive. And then...
That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Let's go say hi.
All right.
Kevin Stefanski, Hobie.
PA, thank you very much. When we return, we'll close things up with your Words Eye View before the Vikings take the road for their final away game of the season. And we look at Thursday Night Football featuring the Ravens and the Jets and the NFL MVP frontrunner Lamar Jackson. Much more when we return here on Vikings Live.
A couple of fist bumps.